Well, let's see. Hmm. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Tony J. Let me see something. See if somebody can hear me. Let's see. Let's see what's up. Oh. Let's see. Solo layout. Settings. Audio. Excuse me. All right. Okay. Layouts. Audio. So. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to have a discussion about today is it's come to my attention that there's this new movement called the 4B movement. And, I wanted to continue this discussion that I had yesterday about what's going to happen since Donald Trump is in office. And of course, the women have now taken extreme measures to basically sequester themselves from men, or really in some respects completely withdraw any type of interaction with men altogether. And I knew something like the 4B movement was going to come, but I didn't know how bad I don't know how bad this is going to get. And when I say I don't know how bad this is going to get, is, when Trump got elected the first time, of course, a few months in, we had what was called the Metoo movement. And the Metoo movement changed the dynamics of how we interact with each other. The Metoo movement spawned so many cultural dynamics as far as men and women go. It was good on one end, it was bad on the other. But there's also what we don't realize is that there was politics attached to the Me Too movement that we can't really we can't really ignore that, to be honest. And we can't ignore it because when things like this happen, when you have a political strategy, well, a political culture that's split between races and genders, this is what will happen. And the 4B movement is likely to become just a new reality, but it's an extreme reality for women. When the Me Too movement came, there was a lot of things that happened. Of course, we saw the Harvey Weinstein thing, the Bill Cosby case go to trial, and of course, R. Kelly sent to jail. And out of all of that, of course, there was a win for women in that system because it literally made people aware of sexual assault, made people aware of sexual harassment, but at the same time, it opened a door to people to men being falsely accused of not just rape, sexual assault, uh, sexual harassment, but just a misunderstanding of communication between men and women, and that became a cultural issue. There were a few wins in Me Too, and then there weren't, and it kind of stirred up. Trump's first term kind of stirred up the fervor in women. This second term is going to really stir up the fervor even more with women and how they interact with men. Because deep down, there are plenty of young women out there in the 20 somethings that don't want to have nothing to do with women. Women don't want to have nothing to do with men at all. And it's crazy, like the dynamics. You're not seeing people date anymore. You're not seeing people go out on regular dates. Like there used to be a thing where people used to go out on regular dates. Now people don't do that. It's become a game. And yet out of all of that, like what's come out between 2020 and now has redefined women and in their culture as well and how we perceive women as men. You know, we've allowed this social dynamic to give really open a door for women to do anything they want, even if it meant it was a degenerate behavior like prostitution or OnlyFans. Now, OnlyFans became a thing after the pandemic, and you see more women making more money on these platforms without having to go into the strip club or go out on the blade, is what they call it, go out on a blade to do sex work, what they call it. And it's become a thing now. And as much as we want to admit it, when COVID-19 happened, and you see a lot of women used to work in the strip club now working on the streets. And that became a big thing in 2020 when everything was shut down because women needed money. And women needed some type of social safety net. And the thing about it in this day and age, right now that Trump's in office, women's safety net is going to be completely gone now. Because now, not only do you have no more abortion rights, you now don't have uh what I would say, you don't have a social safety net that you used to depend on under Biden. So it's going to be a cold winter for women in these next 4 years. It's just going to be the reality. And I hate to say that, but now with this 4B movement and what I'm noticing, you know, I just think it's really become such a big issue now. And I think we're going to hear more and more of it in the news as time goes along. But let's let me jump into this whole thing with this, you know, whole 4B movement, right? Says no sex, no children, no marriage. And I'm sitting here and I'm reading what the 4B movement is all about. And it's like no sex, no children, no marriage. You're swearing off men. And I'm like, what good is that going to do? What good is it? You're already swore off men. A lot of them swore off men after Me Too movement. The dynamics have changed. People aren't going out on dates anymore. And most people would rather stay home. And there's like these shallows on the internet in these bubbles. You have like the last 10 years, I've seen some of these bubbles on social media. Um, of course, in the beginning, it was the whole Kevin Samuels high value man thing, the manosphere, and a lot of other content creators that are really geared towards men. Now, I'm not going to say that all of them were toxic, but some of them could be some of them can be extremely toxic. And those are the type of content creators that I stay far away from because they've become like the manosphere has become a bit toxic to a certain extent. And then there's of course the Kevin Samuels high value man thing that lasted from 2021 to 2022. That bubble had a lot of African American men in that sphere. And then of course there's now 2023 into 2024, like right now it's the passport bro movement. And the passport bro movement has taken off at such a rate right now that men right now have generally checked out of dating in the States because they've gone overseas or they have enough money to go overseas to live a cheaper lifestyle in exchange for their dollar, the value of their dollar kind of like going up. So right now, what people don't realize is that men right now are winning in that realm of where they're going overseas and they're looking towards living a cheaper lifestyle. And I never thought that this would be a phenomenon because when the white guys are doing it, it's never really talked about. But now with black guys and other races of guys doing it now, there is bringing attention to the women, and the women is kind of like they have antennas in their head, and then they're like, oh, these guys are getting passports and going overseas. So now, once it gets, gets out that women know about these phenomenons, they start shifting or pivoting accordingly. And there's a pendulum shift between both of the sexes now. So one part is going overseas to find other groups of women, and the other ones are like they're swearing off women. The 4B movement, which is the movement for the women, now that's become a thing, and I don't have any doubts that that movement may take off. So like there's a cultural wind shift coming by 2025, and we don't know how bad this is going to get. But you know, with men, it definitely it definitely should really should move the needle a little bit with us, because we don't know how they're going to play this the way they've played. We don't know how they're going to play it the way they played Me Too, the Me Too movement. And when women don't get what they want, they lash out in the most unfortunate of ways. And with the 4B movement being what it is, even though it started out in Korea, now it's become a thing here, which I don't understand. But making making this declarative statement of swearing off of men or withdrawing from mating and dating, that's kind of very extreme. Men haven't sworn off women, but they've moved to other locations to get those types of women, which is crazy. But I guess all I can say at this point is that men need to take note of this and move accordingly. Notice the red flags, notice the rhetoric that's coming from a lot of these ladies, because if you don't witness the red flags early on, you might be setting yourself up for a lot of problems. And that's really what men need to take notice of. We're getting ready to get a new internet bubble in a sense. Like the divester stuff, like I know it's like with, African American women, the divester stuff that's going on in the manosphere has already picked up. But it's really on the fringes. It's not become a large talking point amongst black women. But the other fringe, of course, with this 4B movement, is going to be somewhat different. There's going to be this general animosity towards men, which which we really don't want, don't need, because a lot of bad things can go wrong out in society. But I guess that's all I wanted to say. And checking here again. Got some more videos coming so far, but I guess I could say, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you stay tuned. I got a couple of lives coming soon. I just want to peek my head back in here again, see who was online, see who wasn't. I don't know, but let's take note of this 4B movement, and you know, fellas, watch yourself and keep your eyes and your ears open, because after 2025, shit about to get real. I'm out.